Hello, first and second grade. Today we are going to draw an owl, and then I'm going to show you some really neat colored pencil techniques to get some effects like this. So get one of the pieces of paper I sent home. This project, like I said in my note, will only take one piece of paper, but I sent home several so you can have some nice quality paper to do some free art on. This paper handles watercolor really well, it handles crayons really well, and I really like the way it handles colored pencil. So get your colored pencils out and your pencil, and let's get started. Okay, to start with, we're going to put a reference dot about right here. Okay, what we're doing here is we're doing the top of his head along here, and then we'll do his little ears. And then about the same distance in over here, put another one. You don't have to measure it, it's not that critical. And then just gently sketch a line right across there like that. Remember, always sketch very, very gently so that you can erase any lines you don't like. And on this side, we're going to slant in just a little bit. Slant in just a little bit. And that gets to his ears. Now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to have two little round circles here. And we're going to make that into a circle and then erase what we don't want to make this part of his face. So let's go ahead and find about where the middle is and make a nice big circle there. There we go. Got one there almost like he's got a pair of glasses on. And we can go back and erase the lines that we don't like and kind of refine it a little bit. So we're going to go out with it now, and then up to center, and then down. My surface underneath my paper is a little bit lumpy, and it's giving me some grief here. Okay, now I'm going to go back and erase the lines I don't like. Remember, these videos are designed so that you can pause it. If I get ahead of you, just hit that pause button, and then we'll be right here with you when you're ready to proceed. And we want both of the lower parts of his little eye cheek thingy part to be pretty even. There we go, that's pretty close. Now inside, we're going to make his eyeball. So just draw a nice big circle here and a nice big circle here, about the size of a dime. I know it's kind of hard for you to see a relationship in a video. And then I think I want my owl to be kind of looking over this way. So I'm going to put my eye center a little bit to the left and down. It's going to look like he's looking at my colored pencils over here just for fun. Okay, the next step, we're going to make his beak, and all that is a triangle. Come down like that, make the letter V, and then straight line down like that. Piece of cake. His wings are next. And it's a little tricky to get the wings the right size. So we're going to put a reference dot. Oh, let's see, your hand, probably the length from your middle finger to the middle of your hand. About down this far. And then another one over here. Now his wings have kind of a roundy shape to them, like that. It's actually basically just kind of a triangle. But we're going to make it kind of start about right here. And let's put another reference dot over here where we're going to start the wings so we have it the same on both sides. I'm going to go back and refine this shape just a little bit. It's one thing I love about pencil. If you sketch lightly, you can go back and fix things that you don't like. Okay, making an arch, gently sketching like that. Then about right here, we're going to make an arch going the other way. And it's going to come down to a point. Now, it doesn't have to come exactly to there. It's just easy to make these wings too short, so you've got to be kind of careful. So here we go with this one. Down, and then this side of it coming around like that. There we go. We've got his wings basically even. If you need to pause the video and kind of even up your wings a little bit, you go right ahead. Okay, now we have a bottom part of him. I didn't do that on this sample here. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that now because owls have a little different color on their bottom side. Put that here and then maybe lift out some of this colored pencil. Okay, let's do his tummy right down like that. And then this little part that comes up like this. We've almost got a football shape going on here. Okay, then give him 2 sticks for legs. That's the easy part. But don't put his feet on just yet. We're going to do a branch here, kind of a fanciful branch. Just kind of go across like that, and then go across like that. And then just a couple of little lines to make it look like wood. Maybe a curlicue here. Got a curlicue here, and maybe another one here. That just kind of makes it look like wood. And then we can do his little toes here, little talons sticking out. And I want my owl to have a little bit bigger eyes. I think I'm going to go a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's going to look much better. I may make the center of them a little bigger too. I think it'll be cuter with bigger eyes. Oh yeah, I love that. You may want to make your, this almost looks about the size of a quarter now. It's one thing that's fun about art. You can change your mind. Remember, we don't ever make mistakes. We just change our mind. Okay. Make that bigger and that bigger. Oh, that's way cooler. Okay, very good. And we've almost got the drawing done. We have some little feathers in his wings, and it's real easy to indicate that just by doing, it's almost like an ocean wave going across here. Either just 2 or 3 little loops going like that. Then when you get close to the bottom, make less. So I've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You want to have the same number on this side. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We are finished drawing our owl. Isn't he cute? Okay, now the colored pencil part. This is fun. Okay, the way I did this was I took my brown and very lightly just kind of shaded it in. It almost looks like his feathers are changing colors here, but it also gives you kind of a feeling of a little bit of a shadow under each layer of his feathers. So find you, brown. Now this, you can use a different color if you want. You notice most owls aren't teal, but I love that color, so I wanted the top of him to be teal. But so you can learn about the shading and the blending. Go ahead and let's make his wings the yellow and the brown. And then if you want to do this a different color and this a different color, be my guest. Okay, move over here to this one. Now I'm very gently coloring here, and I'm kind of making it uneven at the bottom. I don't want a stripe across here, but I do want to have kind of a darker area up at the top. You're going to do that under each one of these. Remember, you're not making it too dark. In fact, I'm really kind of sloppy about it. I'm always asking you guys, okay, color intensely with those colored pencils. This project, we're not. We're getting a little bit more free and open with our technique here. It's always nice to know how to do all kinds of different techniques with the tools that you have. That's one thing that's really neat about watercolor. There's so many different things you can do with watercolor. Remember when those of you that were here in kindergarten, you remember the Twin Peaks project we did with watercolor. The kids did that this year, and oh, it's turning out really good. Okay, you'll want to do that under both sides. I'm not going to do that now for demonstration purposes. I'm going to show you how to do this technique, and then you can just go ahead and finish that on your own. Now you're going to get your yellow. There's possibly two different yellows in your kit. It's just a personal choice. I like this kind of almost a little oranger yellow. It's almost a yellow orange, but I really, really like this color. But you can use canary yellow if you want, whatever yellow is in there. Now I'm coloring over the brown with my yellow. See how that kind of blends that in? Actually just kind of coloring over the whole thing. And I'm pushing pretty hard. You don't want to push hard enough to break your lead, but you want to push hard enough to get that nice intense color. And then in a minute we'll go back with our brown and kind of reshape some of our parts of our feathers there. Now this part's pretty fast. I almost need to go hit the pencil sharpener. Okay, I'm going to go back with my brown and just kind of give it a little bit over the top of the yellow. It's not quite as dark. Just give a little bit of variation so I don't have some, see how I've got almost a sharp, harsh edge there? Kind of feather that out a little bit. Okay, that's how we do the wings. And then the body of him, you can use basically any colors you want, but you'll want to have your white because we're going to use the white as a blender like we did with the yellow. And I used kind of a gray here. And when I realized that I hadn't put this bottom part of his tummy, I'm going to change that here. Another thing that's so cool about watercolor is you can take your eraser and you can kind of lift out some of the color if you don't like something. So I'm going to lift out some of this brownish, grayish, I'm not sure what color that is, but I like it. Lift out some of that, and then I'm going to do something different with that under part of his tummy. Maybe I'll make it kind of a reddish brown. Okay. To get this blending effect here, you notice it's a little bit darker up here. We're going to take our grayish, whatever. You can use a light brown, a tan. This is kind of a grayish brown. You know, you could use any color that's not too intense. I wouldn't use black. If you want to go with a brighter color, you could use orange with this technique. That would work nicely. Or even a kind of a pink. I know owls aren't pink, but this is our owl, and we can make him any color we want. So you're going to start out by making this a little bit more intense, then get lighter here as you come down. We've got kind of a little shadow made by his little cheeks here and his beak. All right, just like we did the brown, we're not going to do it real hard, kind of going in circles here. So the texture of your paper kind of helps make things interesting too. That's one thing I love about this drawing paper. Just kind of a little shadow under here, not too much. A little bit more intense. You don't want harsh lines, but just a little bit more intense up in there. And then really very, very light coming down here, whatever color you have chosen. You want this bottom part to be very, very light. That's also going to help put a little bit darker along the sides of his wings. That's going to help give it a roundy effect too. We're going to get some shape. I have several lessons, drawing lessons on shape that I do when you guys get older, but you're getting a little bit of a preview here of what you're going to do when we take a circle and make it into a ball. This is basically the same thing. Okay, notice how I'm a little bit darker under here and right under here. Just a little bit. Okay, now this is the fun part. We're going to take our white and use it as a blender. Pushing a little bit hard like you did with your yellow, going around in circles. See how that blends that other color? Isn't that cool? They make a colored pencil called a blender. And, you know, I've got one, but they're kind of expensive, and this works just as well for these purposes here. But if you really get into colored pencils, you might want to get you a blender. I think they have them and when I get out to here, I don't want to push too hard because we're going to have this nice roundy feeling. Over here, it's pretty intense. And just color that in and see how that's just kind of blending that together. All right, we're getting his tummy looking like it's kind of round. Now this bottom part down here, I think with owls, I think that they're a little bit lighter in color there. I'm going to be bold and I'm going to put pink down there. I like pink. Now we do want to have it darker on the bottom edges so we've got this roundiness of his tummy. So we'll do that same thing. I'm going to lay my pencil down a little bit so I can get a nice even, going in circles again. Nice even color. And when you get to the edges here where your pencil line is, Don't make it too harsh. Oh, I got some goobers under there. You might make sure that your table's nice and flat. You'll get extra texture that you weren't counting on. Maybe it's just a feather turned sideways. That's what it is. A little darker on this bottom side so we get that roundy feeling. Just keep putting, don't push too hard because you can't control it. If you go over it and over it and over it, if you glaze over it, then you can control how dark it gets. It takes several trips, but it's worth it to be able to control how much intensity of color you want in a certain spot. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to take my white again now and do my blending thing. Oh, isn't that cool? I just love that. I've gotten some brown in there too, but that's, once again, that's just a feather turned sideways. A little bit of a roundiness on his tummy. Okay, that part is done. Now the top on this sample, I just used a neat teal that I like, and just for fun I made a gradiated, it's darker here and then it got just a little bit lighter as we got down to here. So you can take any color you want. I got a purple over here, that's kind of tempting looking. I've got another color of green. Well, let me stick with this teal here. So we're not going to do blending on this unless you just want to, but we are going to do glazing. See, I'm not pushing real hard with this. Go over and give it kind of a nice layer. Keeping your strokes kind of I'm kind of going in ovals here. That helps me get a little bit more of an even color. I'm just going to go down and do this side here, and then you can finish that up later. Just kind of got a nice even color here. And now I'm going to go back and darken some more up here, making sure that I don't push so hard that I get stripes in it or something. Now I'm pushing a little bit harder now, but I'm still glazing it, going over and over it so I can control the intensity of the color. I don't want it too dark down there. I got out of my lines here a little bit, but I think I can lift that out with my eraser. Okay, now we're talking. That's looking cool. Very gently. We'll want to leave his eyes white so that they pop. And just very gently, so I've got a little bit more of a defined edge. I don't want to outline it per se, but I do want to have a little bit more of a defined edge here on this. Okay, now I don't like the way I've gone outside the lines here, so I'm going to see if I can lift that out with my eraser. Well, some of it's coming out. Once again, it's just one of those feathers. You know how these owls and their feathers. I got most of it. Now, the branch that he's sitting on, let's find our brown, and let's outline where the lines are, going kind of dark here. That way, when we color over the top of it, then we'll have some nice contrast, and these will show up. And then let's do his legs the same way with your brown colored pencil. Now we're not going to outline the edges of the branch, but you can see that there's a contrast between the branch and the background. I forgot about the background. Well, we'll do that last. Okay, here we go. Nice and gently, same technique, except I'm being a little bit sloppier here. And you're wait a minute, Mrs. Davis, why are you telling us to be sloppy? Well, see, what this does is it's giving us interesting areas where there is no color, and that's going to give us some variation. And if you have a light source, say the light's coming down from this way, wouldn't the bottom part of the branch be a little bit darker than the top part? And remember how we were talking about making his tummy nice and round? So we can do that same technique. You guys are getting to be such good artists that you can do this. The same kind of technique to make our branch have a little bit of shape to it. So see how I'm glazing? I'm going over the top and intensifying my color. I don't want a stripe. It's kind of looking stripy, isn't it? So I want to feather it up, getting lighter. Isn't that cool? See, we're starting to get this shape now. Still leaving some interesting areas of white, like where the light is reflecting off of the branch. I'm going to put a little bit of dark here because, you know, this owl, if the light was coming from this way, wouldn't he be making a little bit of a shadow on our branch? And have it real light over here. I might even take my eraser and lift some of that out. Yeah. Oh, cool. Oh, art is so much fun. Okay, our branch is done now. And for the very last step, we're going to do just a little bit of sky in the back. Now, since I've got kind of a teal here, I can go over the top of it and it's not going to hurt anything. But I'm not going to want to take my background color over my wings, because you know what happens if you mix blue and yellow together, you're going to get green, and that may look kind of strange on his brown and yellow wings. So, with a feather touch. Remember, don't do the windshield washer thing. Keep your strokes nice and straight. And leave interesting areas of negative space so that it looks like we've maybe got some little clouds back there. Some little streaky. It's a little bit cloudy today. This is Monday that I'm taping this. It's beautiful outside, but it's a little bit cloudy. And now, see how I'm getting, if I can get my paper to behave, I'm getting a little bit lighter as we go down. If you're ever up high, like on a hill or something, if you look at the atmosphere, you'll notice that it's generally, oh, my neighbor's starting his truck out there. It's generally a little bit darker at the top and then gets lighter because the air is thicker down toward the earth and there's not as much of the blue showing. So there we go. Kind of a gradiated background here and gradiated on this top. I'm going to stop here, and then you know what to do to finish this. Don't forget to put your name on everything that you turn into me, because if it gets separated from your folder or whatever you turn your work in, I have no idea who has done what wonderful work of art. So remember, our deadline for our art contest is this Sunday. Try and have this owl finished by then if you can, and any free draw that you want to turn in and submit for the art contest. Remember to praise God, stay inspired, and keep making art.